You're watching Wild Enough to Shoot At.
Crazy like a fox, howling like an alley cat, sneaking up slow, bite you like a diamondback. You'll never see her coming till she hits you like a heart attack. She's wild enough to shoot at. Yeah. Dangerous little game, but man, you're gonna dig her. So keep your gun loaded and your finger on the trigger. Cause she's crazy like a fox, howling like an alley cat, sneaking up slow, bite you like a...
Welcome back to Wild Enough to Shoot At. I'm Rachel Lipsky, and we're here with Clarence Dies with 3 tracks turkey calls. He makes them by hand, one at a time. So we're out here in Clarence's shop, and we're going to learn about the different types of models that Clarence makes for call boxes.
Well, this is what I call the deluxe model. It was the Nilkoff signature, more or less, box call, and it's a double-sided box call made out of a solid block of wood, one solid block of wood. And this is probably the most famous of the calls and most versatile of the double-sided calls. And this particular one is made out of poplar, which is very that's a purr and cluck and the hen yelp, and it works both sides. Each side will sound a little bit different because of the wood grain, but one of them will be a little bit higher pitched than the other one, and different types of woods will be a little more high pitched than the other one. And that's the best all-around call for everyday turkey hunting, and that's the best one. And
Does a little bit of everything.
yes, it'll do everything, and a call that's becoming one of my favorites. I call the long box, and it's a Nilkoff developed call. He bought the original from a man in Missouri by the name of Walter Winterbottom, and he calls it, and Nilkoff, after he developed it at some point, he sold the patent on it to Quaker Boy, the trademark, and it's called a boat paddle. But it's a lot longer call. It's also made out of one solid block of wood, hewn out, but it has a lot different sound than the other kind because it doesn't have the checkering pattern on the side. I don't have one of these finished exactly here. This is a glued type call. It's built basically on the same principle as the other one, but it's not made out of a solid block of wood. You can see it's glued, and the sides and all are, and it's Lynch caul is a glue type caul, and it saves a lot of lumber. You don't have to have, these particular cauls here have to have a block of lumber at least 2 inches square or so. But it's a good little caul, and I like this caul built out of butternut. I like it built out of butternut as well as the long box. I like that. And then here is a little one-sided caul, and it's just simply, it's kind of what Lynch called what he named a foolproof caul, and it's basically one side works, and the other side is a stop. You know, and anybody, he named it a foolproof because anybody could learn how to do it. You just come across that and it stops like so. But it's a nice little caul, and it's a nil cost. I've won 2 awards with this particular caul in caul building competition. So it's been around a long time. But again, this is a nil cost pattern caul. And the last one is probably the oldest kind of box caul known. It's lost antiquity, and it's called a scratch box. There's 3 or 4 different models of scratch box caul. Some of them they call pocket cauls, because they're built kind of like a pack of cigarettes that fit in your pocket. But this again is a nil cost pattern caul, and it's probably the oldest kind of caul known to man, and it's just simply a hollow chamber with a soundboard on it, and your lid, so to speak, is a separate piece. Oh. Now I use walnut or cherry or something for the lid, but you can use slate or anything. But it's like, I love the way they cluck and purr.
So Clarence, let us know what kind of wood you use to make the cauls.
And I make a caul from a standing tree until the finished product. I cut the wood, the logs, and I snake them out to a landing, and I have a gentleman that has what they call a portable sawmill now, and he'll bring it to my property and set up, and every board we cut it the way I want it cut. It's just not, you don't go to a lumber yard somewhere and grab up an armload of lumber. Every board that we cut out is cut the way I want it cut. So everything except the butternut, all the rest of it I cut myself.
Great. So I also read on your website that you can have a name or small message added to a caul if the buyer decides?
Yes, it's usually I will put on the bottom of the caul, or at the top in the case of the long box, usually what kind of wood it's made out of, and where it was cut, or if I know I have people sometimes will buy them for their grandchildren or something like that, and they'll have the grandchild's name put on it, and maybe some little message, and you always sign your work, because each turkey call that's handcrafted is a one of a kind. It's never going to be another made just exactly like it, and so it's imperative that all call makers sign their work, and it's just it's an ethical thing to do, to sign your work, because it's one of a kind. There'll never be another made just like it.
Can you tell us a little bit more in depth about the awards that you won for the call? Well,
they have competitions for call builders, just like I do just about everything, and I entered some calls in the competition at the Georgia Open Championship a few years ago, and I took a second place ribbon, which I was very proud of, with a one-sided box call, and that was in 2007. And then in 2009, I entered some calls in the North Carolina Open Championship. The reason they call it an Open Championship is if you're from out of state, you can't compete in the state call builders championship. You have to be in the open division, so to speak. And so I took a third place in North Carolina Open Call Builders with a one-sided call in 2009. I was very proud of that.
Oh, congratulations!
I'm also extremely proud of. There was a gentleman friend of mine from Southern Illinois. He is an operator of it's called Grassy Lakes Hunt Club, and they are a duck and goose hunting concern mostly. But this past year, he called me and he was talking to me about they have a program. It was the second annual program they did, and they did a program this past winter for the Wounded Warriors program from Fort Campbell in Kentucky, and he asked me if I would contribute to that. They was going to put on a hunt for them, and they was taking donations from different people, and he wanted to know, and they do 10 Wounded Warriors in the program, and each year, and mostly in Iraq and Afghanistan, and so he asked me if I would contribute, and so I was glad to send. I built and sent them 10 calls for their Wounded Warriors program, and I got a plaque, and I hung it on my wall yesterday. It came in the mail yesterday from all the soldiers. That was a thank you thing, and they had fixed up.
That's wonderful.
And it means a whole lot. It really does. So that's a nice program to be involved with. You know, winning an award is it's great, but what really touches me is when some person sends me a picture of a longbeard he's called in and killed with my call. That's what really lights my candle, so to speak.
Well, that's the reason you started doing this,
that's
correct?
That's what I started doing
wonderful.
It for. And that's what I started, and it's just it excites me to no end to call in a bird with a call I built. It's just that's what it's all about.
That's wonderful.
Yeah.
Well, thank you, Clarence, for giving us your time and showing us around your shop and your home.
Thank you.
We've enjoyed it.
Great. Y'all are welcome anytime, and I appreciate y'all's coming and spending the afternoon with us.
Wonderful.
At least it's not zero weather.
Yeah, exactly. That's so true. Thanks for tuning in. Wild Enough to Shoot At. I'm Rachel Lipsky, and we'll see you next time.